From purpose to perseverance, lessons from the journey. When I see startups struggling, I often ask, are your people here just for the paycheck or are they here for the purpose? It's a big difference. A paycheck might keep someone around for a while, but purpose lights a fire that can burn for decades. Passion fuels innovation. And when your team shares the same dream, strength multiplies. Once that alignment clicks, something magical happens. You stop managing people and start leading a movement. Failure as fuel, the path to true grip. It what happens when that dream is tested again and again. I've lost count of how many times I failed. I failed my university entrance exams 3 times. I applied to dozens of jobs and got rejected from everyone. Even KFC turned me down out of 24 applicants. I was the only one who didn't get hired. Imagine that. Those failures could have crushed me. Instead, they shaped me. They built the mental resilience I still rely on today. Every rejection forced me to ask myself, what can I learn from this? I began to see each failure not as the end, but as a redirection. Painful, yes, but also powerful. Each setback pushed me to grow in ways success never could. When Harvard rejected me 10 times, I didn't get angry. I laughed, not because it didn't hurt, but because I finally understood that my future wouldn't come from someone else's approval. It would come from self-belief. If you can take failure and turn it into fuel, you've already beaten 90% of the people who give up. Our culture loves to celebrate winning, but winning without failure is fragile. It's what nearly breaks you that makes you unbreakable. Every time I fell, I built something stronger inside me: endurance, patience, vision. Alibaba didn't become what it is today in a year. It took 19 years of falling, getting back up, and learning faster each time. Failure taught us humility, stripped away our egos, and replaced them with purpose. It made us better at handling uncertainty and more empathetic toward others. I tell young people, fail fast, fail often, but never fail to learn. Your failures aren't detours, they are the road. They're how you develop emotional intelligence and the true grit of leadership. So if you've been told you're not good enough, this is your chance. The greatest lessons don't come from easy wins, they come from hard landings. Dream big, the engine of purpose. And here's something else. What if your dreams are so big they scare you? When I started Alibaba, I had no money, no technology, no connections. What I did have was a dream to help small businesses in China connect with the world. People laughed at me. They said it was impossible, but I believe dreams are more powerful than resources. You can take away a person's possessions, but if they still have a dream, they are never truly poor. Big dreams give meaning to your work and purpose to your struggles. When your vision is huge, setbacks feel smaller. You begin to think beyond problems and start seeing possibilities. A dream isn't just something you wish for, it's a decision. It's the fuel that powers your willpower, your discipline, and your creativity. Too often, we dream small because we fear failure. But small dreams don't inspire people, they don't start movements, they don't demand your best. I used to say, if we, with nothing, can succeed, then 80% of the world can too. That belief built a company that has changed millions of lives. When people asked me, Jack, how will you compete with Amazon and eBay? I told them, I don't want to compete, I want to redefine. That mindset came from dreaming far beyond the present moment. I wasn't just building a company, I was building a movement. So what are you dreaming about? Is it big enough to pull you out of bed every morning? Is it strong enough to carry you through the times when nothing seems to work? Big dreams don't need big beginnings, they just need relentless belief and the willingness to keep learning. Building for 102 years, the power of long-term vision. Once you have your dream, the question becomes, how do you protect it over time? When we founded Alibaba, I told my team, we're not building a business for 10 years. We're building one to last 102 years. Why 102? Because that means spanning 3 centuries. That kind of thinking forces you to look far beyond today's profits or trends. Most entrepreneurs chase fast wins, but fast doesn't last. I knew we wouldn't make money for years, and that didn't scare me. What scared me was building something that wouldn't endure. If your only vision is your next paycheck, you'll quit as soon as things get tough. Long-term vision is what kept us steady during crises. While others panicked, we stayed focused. We weren't trying to win the year. We were trying to win the era. And when you play the long game, your decision-making changes. You choose what's right, not what's easy. You care more about impact than approval. We spent years learning what small businesses truly needed before scaling. That patience became our greatest advantage. We weren't just reacting to the market, we were shaping it. So when people ask me what made Alibaba different, I tell them we never focused on the next quarter, we focused on the next generation. That's what long-term vision really means. Hope, the anchor in the darkest hours, but even vision isn't enough in your darkest hours. There were moments when the money ran out, when investors walked away, When the market collapsed, I could have quit. But I didn't because I still had hope. Optimism isn't blind, it's a strategy. It's choosing to believe that there's a future worth fighting for when you're optimistic. You don't ignore problems, you believe you can solve them. And that belief is contagious. Hope kept my team moving when they were exhausted. It kept our creativity alive when the odds were against us. Without it, productivity dies. Fear spreads and innovation stops. With it, you can move mountains. I've seen companies crumble because they lost hope. But I learned to see challenges as opportunities, not because I'm special, but because I trained my mind to focus on what could be instead of what is. There's a quote I live by: if not now, when? If not me, who? It's a reminder that optimism is action. It's what builds discipline, inspires learning, and keeps you anchored during storms. Hope doesn't guarantee success, but losing it guarantees failure. Embrace mistakes, the young entrepreneur's advantage. If you're young, this is even more important. Your 20s are not for perfection, they're for learning. I tell young people, make mistakes now, try, fail, get up, repeat. This is the time when failure costs the least and teaches the most. When I was 25, I didn't know what the internet was, but I stayed curious. I experimented, I took risks that didn't make sense at the time. Looking back, those wrong turns became stepping stones to success. At this stage, you have something more valuable than money: time. Time to fall without breaking. Time to pivot without shame. Time to build skills that will serve you at 40. If you wait for the perfect plan, you'll never start. Mistakes reveal your real character. They teach humility, they sharpen your resilience, and in the end, no one will remember how many times you stumbled, only that you made it. Consistent steps, the journey of 1,000 miles. Finally, big dreams don't require big leaps, they require consistent steps. When we started Alibaba, we didn't build an empire in a day. We built it one small action at a time. That's how real growth works, step by step, day by day. You don't climb a mountain in one jump, you climb it by putting one foot in front of the other. And every one of those small steps matters. The power of small steps. Many people give up on their goals because they expect instant results, but real transformation is rarely loud or dramatic, it's quiet. It creeps in through tiny improvements: one more customer today, one better decision tomorrow, one smarter idea next week. You might not notice the change at first, but over time those small wins stack up into unstoppable momentum. That's the real secret behind lasting success, habits, and long-term productivity. Sometimes people look at their own vision and feel overwhelmed. They tell me, Jack, my dream is too big. I don't even know where to start. And I always say, start anywhere. Start badly if you have to. The most important thing is to move, take action, build momentum. Once you start walking, the path will reveal itself. That's where focus, motivation, and empowerment are born, in action, not in planning. People look at Alibaba today and imagine it came from one genius move. But it didn't. It was thousands of small, uncertain decisions, each one deliberate. We didn't rush. We didn't cut corners. We just showed up again and again, with gratitude, with belief, and with a dream we refused to abandon. So when your goal feels intimidating, pause, take a breath, and then take one step forward. Then another, because success is rarely the result of one big moment. It's the result of a lifetime of showing up. Passion, the unstoppable engine. But what fuels those steps? Especially when there's no money, no applause, and no guarantee of success. When I started Alibaba, people thought I was crazy: no tech background, no investors, no experience. But I had something more powerful than all of that: passion. Passion is your engine, your compass, your shield. Without it, you burn out. With it, you rise even when everything around you is falling apart. Entrepreneurship isn't just a career, it's a calling. And the only thing that keeps you answering that call day after day is love for what you do. I often say success isn't just about IQ or EQ, it's about LQ, the love quotient. If you don't truly care about your mission, your people, and your customers, you won't last. At Alibaba, we built a culture of care and gratitude. We celebrated each other, put customers first, and treated business as transformation, not just transactions. From day one, I told my team, customers first, employees second, shareholders third. Wall Street didn't like it, I didn't care. That principle became our power. Passion gave us clarity in chaos, courage in the face of doubt, and joy even when money was scarce. True passion isn't loud, it's persistent. It shows up in late nights, hard conversations, and silent wins. It keeps your motivation alive, your goals relevant, and your thinking positive even on the hardest days. Passion doesn't wait for guarantees, it creates them through relentless effort and belief. So ask yourself, would you still do what you're doing if no one noticed? If the answer is yes, you're on the right path, because business is a game of love, not just logic. And when you love what you do, you become unstoppable. Beyond profit, the mission of empowerment. But passion also needs purpose. And the greatest purpose goes beyond profit. Many people think entrepreneurship is about personal gain, making money, building status, securing independence, but the truth is deeper. Real success begins when you stop working only for yourself and start working for others. At Alibaba, our mission was never just to make money, it was to help small businesses succeed. When they grew, we grew. That's why empowerment, gratitude, and service became part of our DNA. I used to say, if we help others win, we win. That's the essence of meaningful work, building something that improves the lives of others. Your own growth shouldn't end with you, it should ripple outward. When you lead with service, everything changes. Your team works harder, customers trust you more, and your own energy becomes unstoppable. Positive thinking, emotional intelligence, and long-term vision stop being strategies, they become your standards. Entrepreneurship, as I've said, is a game of love, and that love extends to the world around you. It means asking, how does my work make life better for others? If you can answer that honestly, you'll find a purpose strong enough to carry you through any obstacle. That's how you build not just a company, but a legacy. The future belongs to the young. When we started Alibaba, we were 18 people crowded into a small apartment. No money, no tech, no connections. But we had one thing, belief in the future. Back then, most of China didn't believe the internet could change the world, but we did. We believed that self-belief, focus, and a growth mindset were more powerful than resources. I told my team, if we, with nothing, can succeed, then 80% of the world can too. Today's young generation has more opportunity than we could have dreamed of: access to global markets, powerful technology, instant communication. The tools are in your hands. The question is, what will you do with them? Some people keep waiting for the right moment to start, but the future isn't some far off place, it's already here. The next big breakthrough is knocking right now. You don't need wealth or connections to answer. You need courage, vision, and the willingness to act when others hesitate. Technology is just a tool. The dream is the spark, and those who dare to dream big today will lead tomorrow, not because they had more, but because they did more with what they had. So don't wait, don't overthink. Start small but think big, move forward. Even if the path is unclear, the future won't wait for you. And if you wait for it, you're already behind. The Jack Ma mindset, a call to action. He once stood on stage, smiling the same smile that convinced 17 friends to join me in that tiny apartment with no money, no internet experience, and no certainty, only a dream. I didn't just talk about success. I showed the truth behind it, the rejections, the doubts, the failures, and the years without profit, and more importantly, I showed the mindset that turned all of it into fuel. I've always said the real difference isn't talent or luck, it's discipline, a growth mindset, and the courage to act when others won't. Opportunity often hides inside complaints. Problems aren't something to fear, they're something to chase. When others say impossible, I hear, that's a chance. Even competitors are teachers. I study them not to copy, but to learn. That's how you turn threats into insights. One of my biggest hiring mistakes was choosing talent over belief. It wasn't brilliance that built Alibaba, it was shared passion, sacrifice, and an unshakable vision that stretched across a century. And yes, the failure shaped me more than the wins. Harvard's rejections, KFC's rejection, investors' laughter. Each no built my resilience and emotional intelligence. I've always said, when you're poor but have a dream, you never feel poor. The goal isn't perfection, it's courage. The courage to try, fail, and try again. The world doesn't belong to those who always get it right. It belongs to those who refuse to quit. That's why I closed with a question instead of an answer. If not now, when? If not you, who? Your turn. You now know the thinking patterns that set apart the top 1%, and they're available to anyone willing to act. So, will you persist when it gets hard? Will you turn complaints into opportunities? Will you study competitors instead of fearing them? You don't need to change your whole life in a day. Just take one step today, one habit, one action. Then repeat it tomorrow. That's how big change is built. Comment below what lesson from this mindset will you start applying today? Which part made you want to take action? And when you feel stuck, come back to this message. Let it remind you who you are and what you're capable of. And if you're ready to go deeper, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. The next lesson might just change your life.